Welcome everyone to the North Peninsula Democratic Club Candidates Forum. This is September 12th in 2015, relative to the San Mateo County general election on Tuesday, November 3rd of 2015. North Peninsula Democratic Club was chartered by the San Mateo County Democratic Central Committee on May 17, 2007. We proudly serve Democrats in and around the cities of Brisbane, Daly City, Colma, South San Francisco, San Bruno, Millbrae, Burlingame, and Hillsborough. Democrats who are candidate in each service area in which there is a contested race were invited to participate in the Candidates Forum. 8 of 9 agencies and 15 candidates responded. For general information and to become a member, contact North Peninsula Democratic Club, P.O. Box 399, Millbrae, California, 94030, or you can contact me at email me at marge@att.net. We're always very happy to welcome Democrats as renewing and new members. I would like to go through a couple of acknowledgements. I first want to acknowledge the North Peninsula Democratic Club Board of Directors, Pamela Di Givionini, Pam's Vice President, Sam Manis, Secretary, and Schneider, Treasurer, Sandra Lang, ex officio and founding member of this club. Our forum subcommittee for today was Pamela Di Givionini, Sandra Lang, Robert Bernardo, and Vaughn Jones. We'd also like to thank the Transport Union of America workers, AFL-CIO Local 5, Mike Mays, President, Jennifer Platt, Vice President, Marcy Bruins, Financial Treasurer. We have with us today Millbrae Community Television, MCTV. So we thank their board of directors, the general manager, Andy Pittman, and the two producers that you see in the back of the room, Aaron Fellers and Andy Chan. We want to let you know that the candidate forums may be viewed on demand beginning at 12 noon on Friday, September 16th at www.mctv.tv. You can click on the watch menu for a list of 8 separate videos, one for each candidate's race. You may watch your own interview or as many others that you wish to. You may also search on YouTube for North Peninsula Democratic Candidate Forum 2015. And you may post a link to your YouTube interview on your campaign website if you so wish. And now I want to introduce our moderator for today, the Honorable Jean Mullen, Assembly member of the former District 19, and he'll go through our procedure with you.
Thank you, Marge COLAPIETRO, who is the president of the North Peninsula Democratic Club and a current councilwoman in the city of Millbrae. Let me thank our 2 candidates for the Burlingame City Council. This is our 5th forum today. We've already heard from candidates for the Brisbane, Millbrae, and San Bruno City Councils, as well as candidates for the San Mateo Union High School District. We have 2 candidates, Eric Storey and Nirmala Bandrapalli. Welcome to both of you. The process is each one of you will have a 1-minute opening statement. We have 3 questions which have been provided to me this morning, which I will ask. We'll then have, each one of you will have 1 minute, and each one will respond to the 3 questions. You'll have 1 minute with an opportunity for rebuttal, should you so choose. After that process is finished, we'll then entertain questions from the audience, if there are any. Same process, 1 minute, both will respond, and then you have a rebuttal period. And then we will conclude with a 1-minute closing statement by each of the 2 candidates. And with executive decision here, I'm going to ask Nirmala Bandrapalli to begin with her opening statement for 1 minute. Thank you.
I would like to thank Northern Peninsula Democratic Party for putting this candidate forum for us. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Nirmala Bandrapalli. I'm a long-term resident and community leader in our city with a broad mix of business and entrepreneurial experience. Over the years, I have put my knowledge and skills to work to serve our city in several volunteer roles, as well as my unanimous appointment to Burlingame Planning Commission in 2013. Our city is a great place to live with a strong sense of community, outstanding services, and healthy financial services. And I'm committed to building on those strengths and creatively moving us forward.
All right, thank you. And Eric Storey, you have 1 minute now for your opening statement.
Okay, thank you, Gene. Thank you, North Peninsula Democratic Club. I'm Eric Storey, and I'm a community volunteer. Last night, I held a barbecue, or organized a barbecue for 700 people at McKinley Elementary, along with a few other people. On my ballot designation, it says community volunteer, but I'm not allowed to say community volunteer military veteran. I'm not allowed to say community volunteer parent. I think that's not right and fair by the San Mateo Community County elections. The other thing is, to be qualified as a candidate, I had to spend more than $300 in fees, which, in my opinion, is a ballot tax.
Ballot designation.
Ballot tax. And I bit the bullet and I paid it. The reason I'm running is because my point is that we need candidates like me. We need regular middle-class people to get up there and run. And that's why I'm running, and that's why I want your vote.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Storey, for your opening statement. Now, I'm going to ask you 3 questions which have been provided. Nobody has seen those except the authors prior to this morning. I will ask you subsequently, so we're going to start, since Nirmala began. Eric, I'm going to ask you the first question, and then come back to Ms. Bandrapalli. First question is, what are your thoughts on the proposed mixed-use commercial development near your downtown Caltrain station?
In Burlingame, we need more housing, and I've watched some of the videos on and read on lots J and N. They're developing them. I think I'm pretty much for that development because they need more housing, they need more business space to operate, and I think it would add to the community.
Okay. Ms. Bandrapalli?
Well, we
Again,
definitely...
mixed use near the Caltrain station in downtown Burlingame is a question.
Yes. So they have presented the Planning Commission, and in our city, we have strict guidelines. Anybody, want to build. And if that particular building makes sense, especially commercial property, then we would allow that. And recently, there was a presentation made by one project for Highlands, and that it was a EIR, and we asked them to take a look at it. It was very tall. They were asking for 4-story height and 2, below grade parking lot, and it didn't make sense to us. So we asked them to take a look at it again. But I do understand that there is a need for attainable housing, workforce housing in downtown area, and I would absolutely support it.
All right. Rebuttals? Okay. Second question we have regarding Burlingame City Council issues. The city of Burlingame is currently wrestling with the issue of rent control, presumably because of the escalating cost of rental and purchase housing. Could you share your thoughts about rent control in Burlingame? And Ms. Bandrapalli, you're first.
Sure. We can't have rent control in Burlingame because of Measure T that was passed by voters in 1987. But we can still do some things to help renters. For example, housing impact fees. Companies building new offices should be required to contribute to fund that would help pay for attainable housing, workforce housing, or help subsidize improvements made by property owners who won't gawk renters. Another one is a mediation service that would help resolve disputes between property owners and renters. And we do need to support renters, bottom line is. What can we do? I mean, we are losing good people and good services in our city. Firemen, policemen, teachers, workers. We need to do something about it. And I am looking forward to, working on developing a plan and working with our council members collaboratively to find solutions that meet all the needs of Burlingame residents.
All right, Mr. Storey, rent control and housing.
Folks, I'm the only renter that's running for city council. I have skin in the game, and I've talked to many parents every day because I have kids, I go to school, and they feel like they are a kite dancing in a hurricane in this market. And I think one of the things that we can do would be just cause eviction. It doesn't cost taxpayers any money, and it would show a policy switch in Burlingame that would say, yeah, we support our renters, because renters are leaving in the droves. I know one of the principals are running for school mentioned that school has gone up and the amount of people that go there. However, there's been a turnover in those students, and that's because of rent. And so I would be in favor of just cause eviction as a first step to do something, and that's something that costs us nothing. So.
Okay, thank you. Rebuttal?
Well, I also would like to suggest two more things that what Mountain View has done. Mountain View has passed an ordinance, which is a relocation protection ordinance in place. I think that's a great idea that our city should take a look at. So basically, anybody who gets evicted from their house, they get 3 months pay. That is fair market value. So in case if they're only paying $1,000 per se, but the market value is $2,000, they would pay them $6,000. And I think that makes perfect sense to me to work on that. Another thing that what Redwood City has done is they have an ordinance where they would ensure that the renters' living conditions, they inspect the houses and apartments to ensure that they are habitable. And I think that's something that we don't do, and I think our city should embrace that, and we should ensure that the renters have, they live in habitable apartments.
Yeah, you have 45 seconds as well.
Okay, the only thing I'd rebuttal is that just cause eviction costs you no money, no time. You get in there, you vote on it, boom, done. That's it. The other things are going to take time and going to take money, but just cause, that's an easy first step. That's an easy, goodwill towards renters.
Okay, thank you. The third question is one we've asked of candidates in other communities, all of which, like Burlingame, are facing problems of creating housing that's affordable for the workers in San Mateo County and in their communities. And so as we look at affordable housing, we're also trying to determine if there's a way to make those developments sustainable, ecologically sustainable, with the addition of solar panels or reusing water or other ways by which we can sustain the environment and the planet. So do you have any particular views about anything Burlingame could do regarding requiring sustainability on new developments and particularly on affordable housing? And I'll start with Eric, I think is...
Okay, well, thank you, Gene. I know that the City Council recently passed mixed-use housing on lots J and N, I believe. And there was arguments back and forth of, should it be a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom? I would argue we need more 3-bedroom. However, they didn't go that direction. As far as sustainability, you can do rainwater capture. We have, forgot the name of it, it's coming up, it's in the news. El Nino is coming in the news, is coming. And you could capture that climate to provide water for the residents.
Ms. Bandrapalli?
We have actually hired a sustainability coordinator last year to work on the green issues, and she is doing an amazing job putting a lot of plans together, and we have a climate action plan, and Burlingame already is doing a great work. And what I would recommend, or what I would like to see is requirement for all the homes that are built to have electric charging stations. So that's built in, so that people who are these days going solar and electric, they should be able to charge their garage, and basically use the green elements, with the construction, reuse, and not do too much waste. I think taking that into consideration, and I would love to see homes use gray water. For right now we have drought, so they should be able to use the water from their laundry and should be water their gardens. And I think those are some things they could do right away. That doesn't take a lot of.
Thank you. Now this portion is questions from the audience. Do we have anybody that has questions? Could you say the question, then I'll repeat it for the TV audience.
Bell Hampstead regarding the Bayshore corridor right over here, with all the traffic going on along that area of Burlingame. What do you foresee will happen along Bayshore Highway east of that road as far as development? I see that we have the old theater there. That land has been sitting there for many, many years, and there's some old buildings that need to be developed. I've spoken to some of the owners of the buildings, and they've told me that they wish that the city planning commission could help modernize and innovate so that there could probably be mixed use. What is your take on that, and what do you expect to do to improve that corridor as far as development?
The question deals with the Bayshore Freeway corridor and the development of lands to the east side, the bay side of Bayshore, and are you looking at mixed-use development over there, or in essence, what are your plans for the development of long vacant parcels of land on the east side of Bayshore Freeway? And we start with Nirmala, you're first.
Right. Once right now there's a lot of construction going on, and once the interchange, the project is done, I think it'll look great. People can go right from Broadway over to the Bayside, and there is some open space. I would love to see park. Our city doesn't have a huge park beside Washington Park, so I would love to see open space there, some soccer fields. I would love to see a movie theater. I would love to see some offices and mixed use. And basically we need to protect, especially it's closer to the sea level rise, coastal land. We have to be very careful about how we build in that area because of the floods. So I would definitely take that into consideration.
Okay. And Mr. Storey?
I'm on Envision Burlingame. It's a community to visualize what's going to happen in Burlingame. And when they pulled out the big maps, they basically said, why don't you just drop a bomb on that area? That whole area is ripe for development. One of the things you could do is Broadway, when you extend it all the way to the water, sea levels are rising. You could add a ferry terminal there, which will help with the state's mandate of reduced carbon emissions. Another thing that was discussed was putting in an exercise park such for modern ways of exercising, climbing walls and such, and then connecting up the Bay Trail there, make it one cohesive front. That area is ripe for development. You can put mixed in housing. I know you probably know the code better than I do on some of this, but it is an area that's ripe. It's a gem. That old outdoor movie theater area has been bought, and the people are just sitting on that land. It's not being developed, even though they've got the green light to go. So that area is ripe for development.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So much emphasis in Burlingame has been placed on the downtown redevelopment, and it looks great. I'm wondering what emphasis should be placed on the Broadway business district. Since I live close to that area, I'd like to see some investment done in the Broadway district.
The question is, there's been a lot of emphasis on Burlingame Ave. What about Broadway? Any thoughts about how that should be upgraded, I think is the gist of the question. And Eric, Broadway?
Thank you. There's no tot lots. There's no green space. You've got these there's nothing I can do about it. There's two ugly gas stations at buttress. You come down Broadway, you see these just gas stations with fumes and cars fuming everywhere. You put in a tot lot, you invite more people. You have a tot lot over right across from Safeway, It's overcrowded. There's plenty of people there that constantly hit the Yogurtville. If you had something like that on Broadway, that'd bring in business. You remove the dead trees on the streetscape, that would help. There's some other minor things that can be done, but those are the big things. You've got to have public space, and there is none on Broadway.
Okay, thank you. 2 questions. So I'm going to now move to
I'm sorry I didn't get to respond to that question.
I'm sorry.
Can I respond to
I'm sorry, of course.
No worries. Is that
Go
okay?
right ahead.
Thank you very much. You know, I feel Broadway is like a stepchild. We spend so much money on Burlingame Avenue. I think it's time we need to take a look at Broadway. I'm not saying that it should look like Burlingame Avenue. I would love that small town atmosphere. I would love Broadway the way it looks, but it needs a facelift. Look at the streets. The sidewalks are so filthy. We need to at least clean them once a week. At least once a week. I think that's something least we could do for the business owners. Clean cities, clean sidewalks, you know, it brings customers. More customers, more business, more sales tax means we have more money in our general fund. We could do more, invest in more capital improvement projects. And I think it's time we need to invest in Broadway and improving Broadway district and helping the businesses in the area.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bandrapalli. You have something that you wanted to ask?
I think we could ask 3 questions from the audience, or 2?
Well, I think we had 2, but we'll go with 3. All right, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm a resident of Burlingame, and my question is, what are your views on when you do development to meet the housing crisis? And in particular, there's been a lot of discussion about workforce needs, and I certainly can understand that. But I'd like to know from both of you what your views are on including a more livable affordability index for seniors when development projects come up.
So, given the fact that there are both court cases as well as the end of redevelopment, the ability of cities to mandate affordability units is somewhat limited. Do you have any thoughts about how you could enhance the opportunity for more affordable housing in Burlingame? And we're going to go back to Nirmala to start on this one.
Right. So we recently, in Burlingame, in the last 20 years, there were only like 254 apartment units were developed. We need more attainable housing. So we've approved a project on Summer Hill project on Caroline. We're going to build 290 units, and out of 290, 29 would be affordable units. So in our city, if anybody who builds more than 12 units, they have to make 10% affordable. And I believe we need to help our seniors. We need to put public land to public use. That's what we need to do. We need to look at, we have 21 parking lots in Burlingame downtown. See what we can do. Some of those parking lots could be used to build some affordable housing, attainable housing for seniors, definitely. I would support that. So that they don't have to drive, they can just walk to downtown, do their shopping.
All right, and Eric, same question.
I can tell you something about my experience. When I first moved to Burlingame, the building that I moved into was recently bought, and then a year later, rents went from like $800 to like $2,500. And all the people that were in that building were all seniors, and they were all wondering where to go. And eventually, they all had to leave. The cost of living is so unaffordable. And I don't see a lot of senior housings. I don't see a lot of seniors in Burlingame. It's down to like 25% now. And the city needs to do something to help seniors, and I haven't really seen too much. I've seen there's a senior center for assisted living, which costs $5,000, I believe, a month. I mean, who can afford that? So there's things you can do when you develop a property that you can have a subset or side or requirement that you develop some priority for people that when you say seniors, like that certain group, because I know people are living longer and longer, so retirees and such. But we have to do something, because there's not many seniors here, and when I went to visit my mom in Illinois, there's seniors everywhere. She's like, this area is full of seniors. And that's what is missing from Burlingame. We need more seniors.
Okay, being one of the seniors, I can
You know, I
relate
want
to
to
that.
rebuttal that. I don't agree with Mr. Storey. There are plenty of seniors. In fact, we have seniors who wants to downsize. And that's what I'm thinking about, seniors who live in huge houses, and the time has come, they want to downsize, they want to live closer to downtown. So we should be able to find a way to help them so that they can, live closer to the transit. Basically, we need to do transit-oriented development to support our seniors. And also, I would like to initiate a senior commission. It's about time in our city. We have a senior commission in place to address not only the housing issues, but also our sidewalks. Our sidewalks are uneven, there are a lot of potholes. It's about time we take care of our infrastructure so that there is a place for seniors, and a community center focused on seniors too, not only just the teens. So we need to do all these things to help our seniors in our city.
All right. All right, now that we're at the part of the forum in which each candidate has a 1-minute period of time for a closing statement. And Ms. Bandrapalli had the opening statement. Mr. Storey, you can start on the closing statement. 1 minute.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Gene. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll keep it short and sweet. If you want someone to have your back, if you're a renter and you're tired of feeling like a kite dancing in the wind and you want something to be done, vote for me. If you want City Hall land to stay as public land and not be developed for condos, but be a public space, a park, in an area with high density, vote for me. And if you want a new policy change that favors the middle class instead of the most privileged, vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Storey. Ms. Bandrapalli, 1 minute.
Thank you again for the opportunity to share our ideas here this afternoon. I personally, I would love to support our seniors. I would love to support our workforce, work on the workforce housing, attainable housing. I've been on Planning Commission for 3 years. I understand the issues we're having. We need a parking structure in our downtown. We need to support our businesses on Broadway. We need to improve housing. We need to improve the traffic congestion in our city. I am very passionate. I have the energy to support our city council and serve the city council and listen to all perspectives. And before I develop a solution to meet the needs of our Burlingame citizens, I'm here to represent all the citizens of Burlingame and get things done. I'm ready. Are you ready to support me in keeping our city special and safe, not only for our generations, for generations to come? Thank you.
Thank you both for sharing your day with us. And again, this is being videotaped, and you can make access to that through the Millbrae Community Television stations. And so, thank you very much for being with us today.